Tell you what, after speaking to Aisha Kaji, very much at the Al-Aqsa compound with the Dome of the Rock in the background and the Masjid Al-Aqsa as well, they're all fully visual, and the Qibli Mosque. I think the conversation now around Al-Quds Day takes on even greater importance. So let's find out more about it. And today, and the plans with Dr. Seyed Hoseini, who's the protest coordinator. This is in South Africa on behalf of the Islamic Center for Africa. Dr. Hoseini, appreciate your time. Assalamu alaikum. Jummah Mubarak.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Salam to you, salam to the Salam Media and the team and everyone who is geared up today to celebrate another day of the month of Ramadan, and especially the International Day of Quds. And thank you for having me on the show.
Right. Let's talk about this international, Al-Quds Day. I think I know what it is, but we need to be reminded. What is it for? What's the purpose?
Well, after the victory of Islamic Revolution in Iran, Imam Khomeini announced this day to be celebrated internationally, to always keep the issue of Palestine alive, because the whole international effort of the enemies are this wound to be healed and should not kept fresh, and the occupation should be a forgotten issue, and the normalization of the ties with the occupiers to become something which is acceptable. But he announced this day, and since that time across the globe, on the last day of the month of Ramadan, Muslims from all walk of life, from all religious denominations, they are unified, and they are coming with numbers into the streets to protest against the Israel apartheid and the policies that this regime has, and the atrocities which they are carrying on in Palestine. Something like today, about 20 million people comes to the streets in Iran. We have about 1.2 million coming into the streets in Nigeria, in Africa. In South Africa today, there is about 8 pickets in different towns. We have in Johannesburg, in Soweto, we have in Durban, in North Beach there, we have another one in Cape Town, we have lectures in Al-Asr Masjid, we have lectures in Abu Bakr Siddiq Masjid, we have lectures in different masjids concerning this issue, also in Raslo Mosque, Raslo Center. So about 8 gatherings, and the main one in South Africa is ours in Pretoria, opposite the embassy of the occupiers. And we are inviting all brothers and sisters, Muslims, non-Muslims, Christian, even Jews, to come and protest against inhuman brutality of the occupied apartheid.
So what's the form? Let's talk about your protest, specifically the one in Pretoria. What form would that take? What actually will be happening there on the day?
Well, we have announced a mass Jummah day, which we are going to start caucusing at exactly 12 o'clock, about 12:30. We are going to be ready for the Jummah to be performed. And after the Jummah, we are going to have protest against Israel. So everyone from Gauteng are finding their ways to arrive there. Some of them performing Jummah and come there, but we invite everyone to come. Let us have a mass Jummah together.
And would that take the form of a memo, an MOU delivered to your Israeli counterparts?
Well, we don't recognize them as an entity, so no.
No.
We don't have what we want to give to an
so
embassy.
principally, no. There's no recognition.
We don't recognize them. No.
Okay.
True.
In terms of the speeches that will follow the Jummah, who are the different people speaking, and do I take it as different angles that they would follow?
Well, we have organizations who has participated. We have MRN, we have MYM, we have the ex-political prisoners association, we have political, very prominent figures, which they are going to be participating and speaking. Abdulaziz Sheikh is one of the speakers. Dr. Firuz Osman is a speaker. Naeem Jinnah is one of the speakers. And also the representatives of the communities that they are going to be. Some of the EFF members are also coming into the protest. So we're expecting a large amount of participants today at
How? Here's the last thing, right? Like you said, it's around the world, in many centers around the world, and it's been going on for many years. How impactful has this Al-Quds Day protest been in two things: raising the consciousness of the injustice in Palestine on the one hand, on the other hand, to ultimately win the lobbying battle so that the terrain in that region can actually change?
Well, if today the issue of Palestine is alive and still people are talking about, and there is a struggle going on, and the missiles are sent to the occupied territories, and the issue of the declining of Palestine is making a reality. It's not no more a dream. It's all because of the Quds Day demonstrations. It is because the support that the Islamic Revolution in Iran has given to the Palestine, while all nations practically, I can say, has left Palestine alone, especially the Arab nations, which it is their fight. They have started even the process of normalization with this regime, opening political relations, economical relations, things that they have been practicing for the last 40 years. Now it came to be something which they can shamelessly practice. But all of these things are what you call cancelled, and it was destroyed, all of these efforts, because alhamdulillah, through the support that we have from the true Muslims around the globe, by coming and participating to such demonstrations, by the support that they have received from Iran, they managed to create and make their own missiles which can hit like 250, 300 kilometers inside the occupied territories. And we saw the effect of that in the Saif al-Quds operation last year in Ramadan, and also the operations which they had recently, that they, as soon as they attacked Masjid al-Aqsa and they arrested people, 34 missiles has been launched from Lebanon. And then now we can see that Netanyahu has ordered that the Jews are not allowed to come and use the Masjid al-Aqsa compound. If they didn't have all of the support, if the people around the globe doesn't come and shout, the Israelis are going to be very happy and they are going to continue. But now, after all of these efforts which has been done, the declining of Israel by the Israeli authority is becoming something very real. To that extent that the newspaper is writing that it's time for us to go.
Okay. From a South African perspective, I think we're all aware of the importance of global lobbying against an injustice, and we've experienced that through apartheid ourselves, so we know all about that. Dr. Seyed Hoseini, I appreciate your time. Protest coordinator on behalf of the Asli Islamic Center for Africa, and that's ahead of the Al-Quds Day mass Jummah protest, which takes place at the Israeli embassy that's in Pretoria. And that's 12 o'clock gathering, Jummah Salah 12:30, and then a whole series of protest lectures that will take place. And MOU will not be handed over to their Israeli counterpart because, as Dr. Hoseini says, in fact, they don't recognize the status of Israel. So it's not an ambassador to ambassador delivery of letters that would normally take place. Appreciate your time. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Ashraf.
Thank you, and Assalamu alaikum. Right, let's talk finance and get to the markets. What's happening there with a team from 27/4.